I talk to no one. Oh, you're invisible. And with this venomous tongue, yeah, none of it's true. And I can taste it. You see, it's in the heather. A message from forever. And now I felt halfway through the year really strongly that I didn't want to be a painter. I didn't want to see myself in the future alone in a studio working with visuals, although I totally appreciate it and love it and still, you know, feel a real affinity with art. And of course, you know, it's so important to life, but I had a change of heart. And so in fact, really in our band, it's Dan, who actually is the only one who took it to a full degree and had exhibitions and things like that. So I sort of flirted with the idea of it, and then I think I knew I didn't have the quiet focus. So perhaps secretly I wanted to be in a band at that time, but I thought maybe going to art school might help make a band. And in a way it did, because I met Luke and later on we shared apartments, and then we met Toby, and actually it worked out. I feel the weight of the trees beat on my chest. I love quite a lot of the stuff that came out of the late 50s, sort of first generation immigrants from Europe to New York, so people like Arshile Gorky, and then I don't know if he's born there, but it's like Franz Klein and Jackson Pollock and all of those, that sort of extended family of people who are throwing brutal colours at the wall and creating texture. So one part of me would say that is in our music. That's the abstract word that's coming out at the same time as a really abrasive noise with the guitar, you know. So the distortion and the colour and the odd placing of a word is maybe from that family of visual art. Well, I think as quite an early teenager, I went to some rock shows, local gigs, you know, and I loved the intensity of the volume, and I liked going to bars when I was too young and having to dress up and look older. And when I'd visit my dad, we'd always go to the pub, because that's what he does, and to keep me amused, he'd give me money to put in the jukebox, you know, and I start hearing bands from the 60s and getting into the Stones and the Yardbirds, the Faces, the Who, you know, things like that. Me, I put the wall around my heart. I think probably America is where things are most active. But then I must say, here in Germany, I'm really surprised. You know, audiences have been really big. For, you know, we've gone back, yesterday we played Hamburg for the second time in a couple of years. First time, hardly anyone there. You know, sweet, nice, you could practically talk to every single person in the audience, and you understood that they really liked your band, and that was great. But it was a bit embarrassing, you know, 30 people. And last night, same town, absolutely boiling hot, rammed, really intense, you know, so that was a encouraging feeling. How did I do this? Oh, me, I put that box around my heart. Well, my first reaction would be yes, of course. I mean, in many of the lyrics that I write, there is always this sort of thought in my head that I'm excited when people show their true humanity, you know, when you see them not self-conscious, not pretending to be something else. And I think that about audiences as well. When people stop being cool and actually like let go and move with the music, I think that can be political. That means people are no longer hiding behind you know, a certain posture or a certain manner in order to be perceived in a certain way. You know, I like to think of rock and roll as a whole show, as an album, as a band, should be about communicating something towards the truth behind a feeling or an idea. You know, everything we do in this band is political, but but again, not party political. You know.